Welcome to Druggy Nation. We're the bridge between everything pharmacy and pop culture. And now, let's check in with your connect and America's favorite pharmacist, Emmanuel Vogirin.
Look into it. It's bad.
Nothing
it's not bad at all.
She could want to go back to work.
Yeah.
In 6 months.
Yeah.
And her mind and her body absolutely says no.
Yeah, exactly.
You have no way of knowing.
Yeah. So I can't even imagine like how that's gonna change me as a person. Like when that should happen, like a kid, like I'm responsible for kids, like teach them what's right and wrong, like how they grow up, like it's all gonna come from me and obviously my partner too. But like at the end of the day, we are the protectors. Like that, there's on the show, whatever. The husband is the house band, keeps the house together as he should be.
And
it's not archaic. Yeah.
I know my significant other said, watching me give birth.
Yeah. I
had C-sections with all my kids.
Mm-hmm.
But even in that moment, he's like, to feel like you have no control over this outcome of these two lives that are right there.
Yeah.
He's like, I can't really explain how that feels.
That's
because
crazy.
as a man, it takes a lot from you at that moment. Like, I can't ensure that my baby's going to be perfect.
Yeah. I
can't ensure that she's going to come out of this square.
Yeah.
I literally have to stand here and leave this in the hands of these people. He's like, it's the beginning of a change emotionally. And everybody doesn't go through that with grace.
Yeah, exactly.
Men, if you're not taught how to handle your emotional presence, it's not graceful.
Yeah, and I feel like you mentioned like therapy, like that's probably very important. Like when I had to take a break from therapy because I had like things going on, whatever, and I didn't have too much time, which is not like a cop out excuse, but like you know, life happens, whatever. But I'm gonna get back into it as far as I'm in search for a therapist right now, and search for a black female therapist in particular. But like I feel like that really helped me when I was actually doing therapy as far as my relationship, how I am as a person, like as far as how clear my head was and my thoughts were. So like therapy is very important, but like in the time being, like journaling is what I've been trying to do more often. Journal my thoughts down and kind of go from there. But like doing therapy and journaling your thoughts, whatever can help you like clear your mind up and be the best version of yourself before you actually have a kid planning your whole like family aspect or whatever. Like I think that's very important.
Super important.
Yeah. So very interesting. Very interesting.
Oh man, check that out.
I will. Yeah, check out the site. I sent you the links for the website and also the IG. So for sure.
Got the plant right here.
I know, right?
Blessing us.
You can keep talking. Let me see it.
It's just swooping down over the mic.
It's just swooping down.
When I looked, I said, so is this how
the third guest?
It's how we mic?
It's a new mic. I got microphones hidden in the leaves.
What even is this?
Yeah, that's hilarious. That's hilarious.
I mean, floored. We would be sitting there like, he's like, they really believe this.
Yeah. But Kevin Samuels has some, even though you don't agree with everything he says or the way he delivered it, but like,
I agree
some of the things, me too. And it feels like bad to say that, but like, I don't feel bad saying it. Like, his delivery is just what people turn people off. You know, people always say, it's like, no, what you say is how you say it. Like, I get that how people react to him.
It's not. It's not with women. Like, and he explained that.
Yeah.
He said, y'all are delusional now.
Facts.
Y'all are letting people.
They are big facts delusional now.
Y'all are delusional. Yeah. He said, and if we don't talk to you straight away, cutting deep, you won't hear it.
Yeah.
He was like, and some of y'all still don't hear
Fact.
it. And they don't.
Yeah.
They're delusional.
Oh, this new age is crazy. This new age is crazy. It really is.
And it's like really seeping into our age groups.
Yeah.
It's seeping. And I'm looking at it like...
It started from the girls born in the 90s, man. That's what The Weeknd said. That one song he had back in 2015. It says, these girls born in the 90s are dangerous. They're dangerous, man. These girls from the 90s are dangerous, man. Because these new age girls, man, they think differently right now. It's crazy. Oh, man. But we're going to get into all that. Mickey, mic check, testing, 1, 2, 3. You already know what it is. I'm coming live from the DMV. I'm out here in Baltimore, a.k.a. Crime City. It's your best friend, America's favorite pharmacist, a.k.a. the Piper pharmacist, a.k.a. DocECocky, a.k.a. the sexiest pharmacist, Emmanuel Vogirin. And today, I am joined by a very, very special guest. It's always, no joke this time, it's always a great time when we link up and we chop it up about what's on our mind, like you probably heard so far in the intro of this pod real quick. We're just talking. That's how we talk all the time. It's beautiful. So let's give it up for my friend and friend of the show, Shawntae. Round of applause for Shawntae, please.
Let's clap it up.
Let's clap it up for Shawntae.
Clap it up for me.
Already know. So, like I said, if you're a first-time listener, welcome here to the conversation at Drug E Nation. Now, as a Pill Popper Nation, this is the numero uno platform talk about the role drugs play in our everyday lives and society. This is the only pharmacy podcast worth listening to. So I call it informative entertainment where you learn and laugh. Okay, we have an open dialogue about your drug use, whether it's prescription, recreational, or that illegal shit, and how it affects everybody in this year America. So somebody you know takes drugs or medications, whether it's you or you have family or you have friends, like nobody is immune. And with that, welcome to audio 3 of season 5. I feel like every time we talk, it's always like a good combo. I feel like we should have like our own pod together. We'll talk about it later on though. Like we need to like have a talk. We need to like do a pod together. I feel like after this season of Drug Nation, I'm gonna have to reevaluate and see where I want to take the pod game. Seriously, I'm gonna see because like I feel like we always this is naturally click. But anyways, so today we're gonna talk about something I know all about and have every right to talk about. And that's women's birth control. And women's sex in general. So today's topic is going to be in honor of Women's History Month, which is March, if you didn't know. All my men out there. If y'all didn't know, this is Women's History Month, okay? So be nice to the lady out there. Not just your mom, every lady, okay? That deserves it. Anyway, so the first topic that we had on the agenda today was birth control. So I always like to start by defining the topic before we get into it, get into the shits. So in this case, we're talking about birth control and in particular hormonal birth control, which is a type of birth control that uses hormones to prevent pregnancy, right? So hormonal contraceptives have, these are big words now, listen closely, estrogen and progesterone or progesterone only. This is like the ingredients for the birth control. That's all that is, the active ingredients. So they prevent pregnancy by blocking the release of eggs from the ovaries. They thin the mucus, the lining of the uterus, and they thicken the mucus in the cervix to kind of help keep the sperm from reaching the egg. Excuse me. So basically, they're the bouncers at the club, right? And the sperm is that one friend that's too drunk that ain't getting in. Okay? Absolutely. So that's what birth control is. So hormonal contraceptives can be taken by mouth. They can be injected or inserted under the skin. That sounds painful. Or placed on the skin as a patch or placed in the vagina or the uterus. So if you're looking forward to avoid pregnancy, there's multiple birth control options, right? You got condoms, diaphragms, IUDs, cervical caps, sponges. That don't sound hygienic, sponges.
None of it.
None of it. Like, none of this appealing to me. None of this sounds good. None of this
is good.
So other people prefer hormone-based options like, the pill, the contraceptive patch, or the vagina ring. Which we actually keep in the fridge, actually, so we makes it feel all cold in there when we put it on. But anyways, so the question, yeah, sure, we keep the vagina rings actually in the fridge. So I don't know, I probably have to let it warm up a little bit in the room temp. But anyways, so question: have you had experience using birth control? If so, how was it for you? I guess pretty much since you're the only woman in here. So
I've actually had experience with the birth control pill.
The pill, okay.
The birth control patch.
Oh shit.
Depo-Provera, which is injected birth control every 3 months. So I have experienced birth control those 3 ways.
Wait, all 3? What made you change to was it like health reasons? Like why did you change to the effective it was? Like what made you change to all 3 different options?
That's a great question.
Yeah, because I'm like, if you find one, you stick to it. It's like you have to try like different options.
The reason why was because each of these birth control methods and myself, and I'm speaking for myself as well as a few other women that I know, I experienced side effects ranging from cysts on my ovaries, massive weight gain, extreme mood swings. All of these things are side effects of these birth controls that I'm going to be perfectly honest with you, were never mentioned to me when I went to get birth control. Now, I don't know what anyone else's experiences are with their doctors, or if you have a better rapport, or if you went to a clinic setting, if you have a primary that you're comfortable with. But in my experience, the side effects that come from these birth controls are never really detailed before you get them. It's just a question when you come into your OB or your primary and they're like, hey, you want to get on birth control? Like, it's this, do you want a tic-tac type of conversation?
Yeah.
Which I thought was really weird, given the fact that A lot of females experience problems having babies after being on birth control for extended periods of time. I feel like birth control should come with a huge disclaimer. And I also feel that that may be the reason why our male counterparts don't respect the enormous sacrifice that women make getting on these birth controls. So
yeah, because that's a very good point. Because I look at it honestly, like, I'm gonna talk about the story too later on as far as like the birth control and the effects you mentioned, like the side effects, like potentially, like you're not really privy to, because we're so like conditioned in society to like, oh, that's just accepted. That's what's been going on. We take birth control, women take birth control. So as men, we look at it as like that's nothing like having kind of dangerous or mal effects in your health. Like me personally, I look at it as, oh, that's just a part of like life. Like you know what I mean? Like human life. Like, oh, women just be on birth control before they get married. Right. Before they want to have kids or whatever. That's just like how it's just normalized, right? Absolutely. In society. So like we never think about like y'all go through like there's so many options here. Like you mentioned 3 different options for yourself, and I know women and girls that have done multiple options of like contraceptives, birth control. So it's like it's just crazy to me in my mind, like this year especially, like early this year when I have friends that went through some crazy shit I'll talk about later on, whatever. That really opened my eyes. Like, oh, birth control is not like you're just like, oh, you pop a pill like it's a TikTok you said. Not at all. It's like, oh, whatever, it's cool. Like, no, it's like they can do damage to your body. Like, it's real shit. It's like a real shit. So I was like, mind blown. Like, it's everything. Like, it makes you like I said, we've been questioning stuff since like 2020 with like everything in society in general. But there's little things that like this, right? You don't think about, but it's like question everything, because like what we're told like it's a normal thing. Like eat this food, it's a normal thing we're doing. Like I'm looking at this guy on IG now. It's like holistic healer or whatever. Talking about all the food that we eating, like the chicken and stuff. Like literally have cancerous poisons in them. Yes. Like it's just mad shit. Like it's just normal for your life, going through life, whatever. But like you have to stop and like take a breather, take a break, and like actually look into and research like what you actually put into your body. And you come to find out like, whoa, like I've been either lied to or I didn't do enough research to like find out what I'm really doing to my body, or like it's messed up that you don't really know your mind. Yeah.
Case in point. Yeah. Birth control is typically offered as early as the age of 14 years old. Nuts. I need nuts. Like, the listeners to understand something. Yeah. Yes, we're teenagers. Some teenage women lose their virginity early for various reasons. Yeah. You just thought you had some love there going on. Puppy love, yeah. It really wasn't what it was. Whatever the case may be. Yeah. To start to alter a woman's natural fertility process as early as the age of 14, which I'll just throw this out there into the atmosphere. I started Depo at 15 years old. I suffered with severe migraines. Yeah, that's a big side effect. Severe migraines for 3 years after I decided to stop, which I stopped on my own accord when I got to a certain age, because internally I just felt that it was wrong. It was something very wrong with altering my natural female processes that early. So I just want us to kind of marinate on the thought that we are putting our teenage girls on these heavily altering drugs for their fertility. And some women are on them from 14 all the way up until maybe they finished college. Their parents thought they were doing the responsible thing. We don't want no mistakes to pop up. I've had situations where pharmacists that worked over top of me, they were married, they had their degrees, doctor of pharmacy, everything's looking great. Now I want to have this baby. And they're at work having actual breakdowns because they have been trying to get pregnant for years to no avail, after being on these contraceptives for so long and feeling like it's something wrong with them. The emotional turmoil, the physical turmoil that the male and the female goes through. Because you got to think, he's now married. We all did it the right way. Now we want to have a baby and bring this happiness into our life. And it is a suffrage that is happening. And
that can break a marriage.
It can break a marriage. And we're not discussing the fact that our women are putting themselves in this position because we are deemed as the people that are responsible. And we have to do this so that we don't have these quote-unquote unwanted babies too early or what have you. So
it falls all on the women. It falls
heavily under women.
Everything in society, like, falls heavily on women. Like, everything else in life. It really is crazy. And I know we talked about it briefly a little bit in the beginning about these side effects of the birth control. And one of the things I said I was going to talk about a little bit more, because it happened somebody that was close to me, it was a personal story really, is the birth control pills causing blood clots.
Yes.
So even though I did research on this, they say blood clots, the risk is small, it's very small, but it is still a risk, of course, of getting blood clots when you take birth control. And it's a higher risk to get blood clots when you're pregnant. But we'll talk about pregnancy later on. But I want to talk about birth control and blood clots because it's a story I'm going to tell you guys about. So I have a friend, close friend, whatever. She used to take IUDs. She had the IUD, I believe, the IUD implanted. Doesn't one implant the IUD?
Oh, yeah,
right? Or diaphragm, one of those two?
The IUD.
Yeah. One of those things, right? Yeah. That's for like months, like you're good, right? Something like that, or years, or whatever it is.
Yes, years.
So she had that before. And then now she and her partner are trying to get, prepared to start, the family, all that good stuff, whatever. She took it out, said, okay, I'm just going birth control until we actually start plan to have a baby, all that good stuff, whatever. Like, let's say 2 or 3 months after she took it out, there's like mood swings. She's a little different now with mood swings. She has like, she has a little weight gain, got a little chubby for sure. She got a little chubby, a little weight gain, all that good stuff, whatever. And then when the nail really hit the coffin is when she was experiencing, this is how it actually happened. She was experiencing like pain, like, she was telling me like pain, like, in her chest, like breathing, while she couldn't like breathe too much, whatever. And she was like having issues like a leg, like, a little limp action going on, whatever. And she was like, where it was from. And then in my brain, I'm like, she did say that she started taking birth control, like, kind of when all these issues kind of started acting up a little bit, started piling up. So she's like, and I started taking birth control when I switched from like IUD diaphragm. It's like, oh, cool, man, go to tell your doctor about that, whatever. She's like, oh no, I'm in pain right now. I need to go to the ED today. So I took her to the ED, whatever. So my friend, I drove her to the ED, all that good stuff, whatever. We check in and we tell them like, hey, we're having pain issues right now. She's having trouble breathing, like all that good stuff. Like, trouble breathing, the leg issue, whatever, all that stuff. So 2 things I'm gonna say about this. One, first, if I go on a side tangent, the ED departments in the U.S. need to do a lot better because god damn, she was there. So I got there at 10 o'clock. She didn't get home till 3 a.m. the next morning.
Jeez.
And to be seen, it wasn't until hours later, like in the nighttime, 8 p.m., 9 p.m. Jeez. Like she was there. She was telling she was there for the whole entire day, pretty much to be seen. So that's one side tangent about the ED departments in the U.S. It's fucking nuts. It was like a little cut, or whatever. It's like she was actually in pain, like physically could see, like having trouble breathing. But anyway, it's cool. So they go in there, take care, do some ultrasound, whatever, and they see that the blood clots right there, like close to like where her liver and lung area is. Jeez. Like it's like a little bit upper, and she could have. It's like she could die. She could die. Like it's real shit. This isn't like, oh, I'm having issues breathing because like blah blah blah. No, this is like life and death, literally. Like they saw that thing, and it's like, thank God you came in here when you got here, because also someone in the leg, whatever, edema, I guess, right there. Yeah. So the blood clot there. So like. Now she has to wear, like, when she travels, or she can't sit too long, she has to wear the stockings.
Yeah,
like, the
compressions.
Exactly, compression stockings, whatever. And she has to take Eliquis now for 6 months until they figure out, like, until it's all done. Obviously, it's no more birth control for her. Obviously, she's done with that now. She has to be on Eliquis now for 6 months until they, first of all the clots are done. And then she can, like, they can see, like, oh, she's, after a month or whatever, she's, like, living a life normally. Then she'll be, like, off it forever. So they're hoping she's not going to be on Eliquis for the rest of her life. That could affect, too, in the future, when she wants to have a baby, if you have a C-section situation, that's
all of those things.
Everything gets affected. Everything, like the life has just changed now for her. Like life has changed.
All because we're avoiding an unwanted pregnancy. With birth control. What we are deeming as responsible. Is very irresponsible as it pertains to our bodies.
Crazy. And medical professionals just like, this is what it is, because everybody's just like, we're like robot. Oh yeah, this is what you're doing. This is birth control.
Yeah.
Societal norms just condition us as belief. This is the proper way to do life. You go through this, you're a teenager, birth control, you're this age, you do this, whatever, but have a kid, live a normal life. And not everybody gets through that. Some people obviously don't have blood clots when they, take birth control, but like, this is a very big possibility. Not just a blood clots, because that's more of one of the extreme examples. But like weight gain, mood issues, especially your hormones. You have mood swings. You might be a happy-go-lucky person before you start doing birth control with your partner. Then your partner sees changes in you, like, or you're getting irritated more quickly. And like it has like potential to affect various aspects of your life, not just your health, like relationship-wise, everything like that.
Absolutely, and I'll speak on that from just a add-in. I love social media for the reasons of just knowing what the temperature is in the world, what the energy is in the world. And I think we're going to, get into this a little later on with the abortion law changes and things. And anybody that's listening that's familiar with a lot of these, I think they call them the red pill podcasts or the manosphere or man something they call them on YouTube. Okay, it's a lot of them. Yeah. It's so many YouTube channels that are more heavily involved in boosting our men up and letting them know what they should and should not take off of these women walking around here in this modern society. And some of their views, I've noticed, they speak heavily about the emotional instability of women, which I think is funny because in the same breath, they want these women to be on hormonal birth controls to control themselves and not have these babies before we're ready or have babies by sorry men. That also is our fault. For all the ladies listening, I'm just going to give you a short list of things that are now our fault. We have emotional issues. That's our fault. We don't get on birth control or we don't take it the way we're supposed to. That's our fault. We don't get abortions when men tell us that they don't want these babies that they have laid down and had a joyous time having with us. That is also our fault. So just keep a list. And Women's History Month, all of the things that are now our fault.
Oh my gosh.
And they are very adamant about the fact that we are just plumb irresponsible.
Oh
I am a mother of 4. I'm a mother of 4, and I have 3 different men who I father children with. Erykah Badu just had an interview on Breakfast Club, which is phenomenal, and she mentioned, why would people think that is something that any woman would ever set out to do? It's weird. It's a weird thought process. It does not mean she's flawed, or she's fugazi, or she's tampered with, or damaged goods. We as a whole are sexually irresponsible. It is not birth control's responsibility for us to handle these issues. It is the responsibility of the man and the woman who know from as early as being 13 years old that having sex makes babies. And we still make very irresponsible decisions, but it is not solely on women. So whatever woman is out there that has had issues where she has had children or she may now be infertile due to taking these medications or these decisions that she's made about having babies and trying to protect herself, offer yourself grace. Because we are not being raised in a society that teaches us how to be sexually responsible and respect what we're doing inside and out. So that's my TED Talk.
A word. Woo! She gave it to y'all.
That's
a
my
word
TED Talk.
TED Talk, okay.
Birth control is not the end all to be all.
No,
it is
not.
Actually very damaging.
It very is. Do your research on that for sure. When you talk about contraceptives, the guy and the girl, do your research, man. If abstinence or condoms is the best way to go, do that for your own health reasons. Because, the stuff we put in our bodies, man, can have a lifetime of an effect on us. Trust me.
Absolutely.
Potentially, this lady could be taking Eliquis, a blood thinner, for the rest of her life.
Right.
Based on birth control. Something that wasn't even her fault, literally. It was more so like an OBGYN said, hey, take birth control, it'll be fine before you
get pregnant. It's like candy.
And that's it. And after that, your whole life changes a little bit right there, right? One little thing changes your whole life. So, very be careful out there and do your research on what's best for you. Doctor can say one thing, but you gotta do your own research, ask questions, and kind of go from there. When you're comfortable, do what makes you comfortable.
Absolutely.
Right? Because that's my 2 cents in it, for real. 2 things I was gonna touch upon that you kind of touched upon a little bit. You mentioned the whole pregnancy. You had 4 pregnancies. I was gonna ask you a question actually, if you had any blood clot issues during any pregnancy. And the other thing you mentioned was the fertility regarding birth control, if it affects the long-term fertility. I don't think anything else to add to those 2 points. I did not experience any blood clots. I also have 4 children, but one, it's a set of twins. So I've had 3 labors. They were all cesareans. Oh, so C-sections. Okay, gotcha. Yeah.
They were all cesareans.
Okay.
I did not experience blood clots at all. I had very healthy pregnancies, but as I stated before, birth control was something that I cut off a long time ago. I've actually been not on birth control, as you can tell by me having 4 children. They came, they here, they conquered. So, no, I didn't. And I actually, I lead a pretty holistic life. I try to eat very whole foods. I stay away from medications. I definitely take my vitamins. I make sure that my vitamin levels up. I see my primary care physician. I exercise. I meditate. All of these things aid in our entire whole body. So, just clearing out all of that mess and foolishness. I take herbs for my reproductive health. So these are all things that can also help you as well with being more responsible sexually. We all could stand to be more responsible sexually.
Yeah, and it's good that you mentioned the whole changing your whole diet and lifestyle, because this is what we're doing now. We're adopting the flexitarian diet. So basically what that means is we're right. It's pretty much 80-20, right? So 80%, which is the week, Monday through Friday, we eat very healthy. We eat vegan/vegetarian. Throughout the week, no meats, none of that processed food, any of that kind of stuff. We started this a month or 2 ago, really. So 5 days out of the week, where it's work schedule, whatever, that kind of stuff, we eat very healthy throughout the week. And then obviously, you go out to friends' parties, things happen, whatever, on the weekend. So Saturdays and Sundays, we try to eat healthy on Saturdays and Sundays for sure, but give ourselves a little more leeway.
Flexibility.
Yeah, so that's what flexitarian. And really, it's whatever works for you, to be honest. She's not saying go cold turkey.
Not at all.
Right? We're going to have stuff that we like to eat, whatever. You can have that for one day. It's called a cheat day, and we won't go to the gym. Call it cheat day, right? We eat what we want to eat, or we don't work out as hard as we want to, because it's our day to kind of relax. Have that for yourself too, and as far as your diet is concerned. That's what we have too. It's really working out. I don't miss eating wings or every other day or whatever, or ribs or steak or whatever every other day I used to back in the day, right?
Right.
You're gonna find meals that you actually like, and hey, tastes like chicken sometimes. With a vegan meal, it tastes like this. Sometimes.
Seasonings go a long way.
Season that bad boy up. It's you know what? I don't miss chicken. I'm eating. Actually, I'm just saying, man. So all my listeners out there, man, my 4K listeners, shout out to y'all, man. Y'all, for real, do what's best for your own health and your life and your partner, for your relationships, all that kind of stuff. Have this discussion. That's what we do. We have to talk about it. Say, hey, how do we want to project our family life moving forward? Do we want to start when we have kids, or we start now implementing those good habits, so when we do have a kid, whatever, he or she is not going to be eating how we were eating crazy.
Absolutely.
They're going to be eating healthier, and that's a good habit for the kid, boy, girl, whatever, moving forward in their life.
Absolutely.
So when they're growing up, then it starts from there, right? To end generational trauma, as I say, whatever it is, it starts with you. It starts from somewhere. That's what we're trying to start this, because we both come from families that have a lot of meat and dairy products in their culture, right? I'm Nigerian. We all know about Nigerian cuisine. She's Dominican. Dominican cuisine and Nigerian, pretty much is similar a little bit, but there's healthy balances in each of those.
Absolutely.
In Dominican culture, they use a lot of yuca, which is a root vegetable, very healthy.
Very
Plantains, healthy as well too, is good. Sweet potatoes is healthy. But there's stuff you can eat that's healthy, that tastes good, you already eat now, but incorporate that more in the style that you want for your healthier eating. That's all we're saying. So you don't have to take away everything you like, but it's ways to incorporate that into your diet to make it something that's sustainable for you long term.
Absolutely.
Because cold turkey is not sustainable long term. I'll tell you that much. You can go right back and revert back to old habits. So that was a nice little change in there. And then you mentioned before the birth control and fertility. So I guess it didn't really affect you too much with fertility with birth control.
No.
but it said in general it doesn't really affect your fertility. There might be situations where obviously it
takes you longer.
Yeah, it takes you longer, or it can affect your health, and you have to be careful, more careful when you do have a pregnancy. If you're on birth control, if you're on a Eliquis, blood thinners, having a C-section might be a little more complicated because your risk of bleeding is a lot higher. Things of that nature, whatever. But in general, it doesn't really affect your fertility. Right. Obviously there's anomalies in that equation, but in general, it's pretty safe as far as fertility is concerned.
Yeah, I think a couple things go into it when people stop it later on in life. You hit 32, 33, 35, and you've been on these medications for long. Now you're dealing with getting older in fertility age, as well as having something that has stopped your natural fertility for so long, and they're playing hand in hand. So just like you touched on a few times, you got to sit down with your partner, this person that you want to have this child with, and you have to really discuss what's going to go into this fertility journey. Because if we are altering fertility for any amount of time, there has to be a discussion about that, because there just may be a chance that you're going to struggle a little bit. And in vitro is not cheap. I know people who are going through it.
Got long money, trust
right now. So it definitely is something, like I said, I think that comes into sexual responsibility, having those conversations, those uncomfortable conversations.
Exactly. You have growth, though.
You know, it comes with growth. Somebody may not want a child, and they still want to be in between the sheets. So, you know, conversations have to be had, because, you know, we do enjoy it. But there is a side to that that we have to be much more verbal about and be much more disciplined as it pertains to having children. So
absolutely. Yes. I second that 1,000%. So we talked about issues with mood and birth control a little bit earlier. So I want to dive a little deeper into it, and you can definitely get 2 cents about it too, for sure. So my research says that, obviously, breaking news here, women's sex hormones influence women's moods. Men's sex hormones influence men's mood. It would be possible for them not to. That's what they're called, hormones. But mood-related issues like anxiety and depression are very common among women on birth control pills.
Common.
Very common. Almost half of all women, they say, who go on the birth control pill stop using it after the first year because of the intolerable side effects. That'd be so bad it's intolerable. That's how bad it is. And the most frequently cited is unpleasant changes in mood. Sometimes it's anxiety, it said. Other times it's depression, or both simultaneously. So, and even though some women's doctors tell them that those mood changes aren't real or important, see, like you were mentioning before, doctors, man, do your own research. A growing body of research suggests otherwise. So there's a Denmark study, and the researchers found that women on hormonal contraceptives were 50% more likely to be diagnosed with depression 6 months later compared with women who were not prescribed hormonal contraceptives during that time. So they also found that women on hormonal contraceptives were 40% more likely to be prescribed an antidepressant than were women who weren't prescribed hormonal contraceptives during that study. So the result of the study, as well as others, suggest that the pills can increase the woman's risk of depression, right? So that's one thing that's obviously, so it's a real thing. So when you're saying like, you notice as a man, whatever, with your partner, whatever it can be, that you notice like changes in the mood, situation like that, whatever. That's a real thing. It's the study's proven that, hormonal changes affects your hormones. There's no way for it to stay the same as a person is when it's taking something that's different or foreign into their body. It's going to change how they look at themselves, how they view the world, how they feel, all that kind of stuff. So I don't know if you can touch upon that a little bit more.
Yeah, and I think that's going to tie into our next topic a bit. The studies, of course, are the studies, and it's all the way across. But me as a black woman, I'm going to touch on my personal experience, as well as how that may doubly affect women of color who also tend to have mental health issues without the birth control. Anxiety, depression,
growing up in America,
bipolar disorder, PTSD. These are all things that will drastically be affected once you throw a hormone in there. And women, African American women, are probably prescribed birth control as fluidly and easily as anything in our local clinics. You got to look at the Medicaid system. It is just a rabbit hole of ways that these women are affected in poor, low income, low class areas as it pertains to birth control. Because their first thing is, look, sis, you broke. I'm finna give you this birth control because you don't need to be having no more babies. Not taking into account her mental health. They don't ask, well, have you ever been, diagnosed with something? Do you see a therapist? Do you experience any of these issues? Because this very well may make those issues worse. I myself was diagnosed with PTSD as well as depression. I got on a hormonal birth control back in 2020, a birth control pill. I got in a new relationship. I'm with that person now. We're heavily in love with a little bouncing baby boy.
Congrats on that again.
Thank you. But I made the responsible decision to try out birth control because I just wanted this time to be different. I said, you know what? I'm going to do this the right way. I'm not going to have a baby yet till we're where we're supposed to be.
Yeah.
We had the discussions. We both agreed. I got on this hormonal medication, a birth control pill, and I went cattywampus.
That's a new word right there. I like that.
I was all over the place. No way, shape, form, or fashion was I in a straight line. I was at the left and then at the right, and then I had anxiety issues, and then I was low. And my partner actually said, I don't want you on the birth control because I see the drastic change in who you are. He physically noticed it. He didn't complain about it, but he would look at me at times like, who is this person?
Yeah, 100%, yeah.
And once I stopped, I leveled back out eventually after a certain space of time. Yeah. And then we got pregnant with our son. But it was a conversation that was had. Yeah. And it was a drastic change.
Now, did you have that convo as far as like what potentially could affect your mood? Did prescriber, your doctor, have that convo with you?
No.
That's my issue with this whole thing. Like, if I feel like if you had known that situation before, one, you might have made a different choice, but two, obviously you would have probably thought about that and had a convo with your partner ahead of time so that it'd be an easier discussion if that actually became to fruition as far as like you having those issues. You could actually have an actual dialogue about it because you and your partner sound like y'all had a talk and that was great because that's not how a lot of relationships could happen as far as them having a talk. Like if some other people could talk to their girl and be like, hey, like you look acting a little different these days, blah blah, and that can go a different way.
Can you imagine how many relationships have ended?
Exactly. Off of that, like what you mean I'm doing this, blah blah blah, and that gets escalated. So the fact that like they don't even tell you that before, so you can prepare yourself mentally and your partner, you're both when you guys actually have the conversation, the dialogue, you have it in a respectful manner because now you guys kind of know, have a basis foundation like where y'all are coming from. If you had no basis, like not knowing that knowledge before, now it's like, yo, he say, she say, or it's like attacking each other. No compromise. Cause y'all are adults, y'all are older, so y'all talk about all that good stuff. But like younger couples, early 20s, whatever it can be, that goes totally sideways. Trust me, if you're gonna talk to the girl, be like, yo, you acting different these days. Well, she might act different. Oh.
Yeah, it's on 1,000.
Yeah, so
we're on 1,000.
So prescribers, doctors, you gotta make sure your patients are aware of the entire details of like what this medicine could potentially do to you. Because we see all the side effects they mention on those commercials they see on TV, whatever, about a drug, whatever. You gotta be like those commercials on like in the room with your like patients. Get up the commercials. Side effects includes this, that, this, like all that shit. Like tell them everything so that they're aware you can make the best choice for themselves. Now, you're not out here pushing pills. Like, you gotta be able to, like, do the best for your fucking patients. Like, come
Absolutely.
on. Like, this is crazy. You didn't even know all the information before. Now you have to find that out after the fact.
And then when it dawns on you, like you said, we know this stuff is hormonal. Yeah. So, you know, I've been in pharmacy for I don't even know how many years. Yeah. You would think, oh, well, if that's going to happen, then that may affect my mood. Yeah. But you don't. Yep. It's like, you know, you're like, we've been conditioned that birth control is to keep me from having a baby. Yep. Not it's going to alter my mood. Not it could change. You know, you got to think if an egg is not being released, but if it's not a matured egg, it comes out as a cyst. Yep. It's a partial follicle. You get a tumor or a fibroid. Yeah. These are things that we have to know. Yeah, exactly. You have to say all of this stuff could and probably will happen, especially if you've had mental health conditions, which a lot of African American or lower income people have. We as women have this. We went through excessive trauma throughout our whole life almost. So you're dealing with a ticking time bomb, and now you're going to give them...
Spark it up real quick, like the little way flicker when that shit comes out. That's what you're doing right there. It's like, oh, there you go, have fun. like, so it's like we gotta just unplug from what you've been told your entire life. Society has told you what you read. Everything. Just unplug a little bit and be curious. Ask questions. It should be a curiosity stream in your brain for everything. Like, don't just take this for what it is. That's one of the biggest lessons I learned from pharmacy school, actually. I was doing this experiment in a lab, whatever. I was just following directions and just doing this, blah, 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 step by step. And the faculty member came up to me. It's like, I was stuck on a question. I didn't know, like, how to, answer that during the lab assignment. Whatever. It's like, but think about it. Like, why is this the situation? Like, is it because somebody just told you this is how it goes? Like, ask your question, like, why is this the way? So, like, she broke it down in a way that I understood that, okay, this is why it is. So that now it makes more sense in my brain because, like, now I know, like, the fine nitty details of it. It's like you, like, building up a project, whatever, building some stuff. You know each tool works in there, whatever. Now you make a better, more informed decision, like, how to go about whatever it is in your
Absolutely.
life. So, like, that's kind of what I want to say about that story. It's like, it's unplug and, like, learn the information, like, why things are the way they are for whatever reason. That the birth control thing could be big pharmacy, trying to put the drugs out there, like the opiate epidemic, put the drugs out there for everybody. Did I have your best interest at heart?
No.
Played it with the opiate epidemic, they didn't, because everybody was so fucking dead. No. And now, so everybody knows what happened with that. So at the end of the day, yes, realize, understand, like, not have like a bad view of the world, but the world is a crazy place. Just to understand that people don't always have your best intentions at heart. So you have to have that for yourself. Do your research and then make the best choices for yourself.
Absolutely.
That's what I'm gonna say about that. Cause and then you mentioned the whole disparities with the women's health and the black women, all the extra things they gotta go through as far as the mental health situation, and then obviously the sex health situation too. You mentioned the cysts and the fibroids. I want to touch about the fibroids because there's racial disparities with black women and fibroids. So black women are hit the hardest by fibroids, and they're diagnosed about 3 times as frequently as white women, and with more severe symptoms, right? So many women who have fibroids actually don't have symptoms. So, but those that do, the symptoms can be influenced by the location, the size, and the number of fibroids. Do you have any experience or people that you know that had issues with cysts and fibroids?
Absolutely.
Right? Oh, you do? Okay.
In my family, fibroids are excessive.
Oh, wow.
In the black women in my family, so much so that I believe 2 of my aunts have had to get surgery to remove them.
Oh, wow.
A close friend of mine just actually had surgery to remove a very large fibroid that was, I think it was blocking some blood flow somewhere. Polycystic ovarian syndrome, which is
POS.
PCOS is very prominent in the African American female community. I myself has had PCOS, and it is tied with diabetes as well. You have to understand. You just have to understand that, like you said, unplug, and I always say unlearn. Unlearn the things that you've learned about yourself, and knowing that this thing or these things are happening in these poor communities. Our bodies are not any less equipped to be healthy. I have to put that out there. But what we do need to also
1,000%.
understand is that we are also given less adequate care. We are also given less information. We are also given highly toxic foods. When you are in a low income area, when you are not as well off as your counterparts, you do get the bottom of the barrel. And we have to start looking at our body as not it being something wrong, but our bodies is responding to things that are being put inside us at higher rates, much higher rates than other places. So sometimes we hear these numbers, and I love to hear these numbers, but sometimes we can receive them as there's something wrong with us. And I need us to unplug from that.
Absolutely. That's great.
Because that is not the truth.
Don't you find it funny every time you read a stat somewhere like anytime I read anything about health or whatever it is, anything bad in society, it was like, oh, people are getting sick, blah blah. They said this affects this population. You already know what population they're gonna say already. Before they say anything, you're okay. It's at black people, black women. You already know the population affects the most. Period. Without them even saying it. Like everything, I know we all have that thought in our brain too. When they mention anything like bad stat anywhere, this affects 1 in 4 women, and it particularly affects more. You know, it's gonna say more black people, black women, black men. That's just what it is. Period in society.
And it does that. I've noticed to see that it does something to your thought process. Oh well, this just runs in our family.
Exactly. This is how we are.
This runs in. No,
it's not.
It's how we're being treated. It's how we're being handled. It's the lack of care. It is not who we are.
Exactly. And I did my podcast last month was being black in America equals bad for your health. And that's the reason why I said that, because Not forget about the police shootings, all that killing, whatever, bang back your health.
Right.
Talking about what they give us to put into our bodies. Like
Yes.
we all had the whole southern cooking, the chillings, all that kind of stuff. Those are the scraps, and we still. I mean, if your economic status is bad, whatever, obviously you're limited to what you can afford. But also that goes into play. That's how to keep us to eat this food. It's all systemically tied into everything. So at the end of the day, it's not your fault. It's not you. But now that we are armed with this information, what are we going to do about it? There's different ways to eat healthier. We have farmers markets out there, maybe in your neighborhood. A lot of people have food deserts, but in local grocery store, they might have situations where they have sales with on fruits and vegetables. The things of that nature, there's ways to kind of get it. Like there's things like even I know New York. It's a bad example because New York has a lot of access to a lot of things that we probably don't in different states, nationwide, whatever. But like in New York, like go down, in the Bronx, where the bodega, whatever. Like outside, they have the fruit stands. They have like 3 mangoes for like $1. Like it'd be cheap food, whatever, and it's healthy, cheap food. But there's options out there. Just look around your neighborhood and see what you can get as far as healthy eating is concerned. Because don't keep putting the bad stuff that it gives you, processed food, into your body, and that's what leads to this diabetes, heart failure, this or that, and that all is all tied together. That's what I'm saying. It's all tied together. So like
also,
you said,
if you're on medical assistance, Medicaid, or whatever the case may be, and you don't feel like you're getting adequate care, you can request referrals to nutritionists. Request referrals to these people that are going to actually help you get into a better state of care or living.
Yep.
Your primary care physician is not the only place that you can go.
Yep.
You may need to get a referral, but get a referral. I want to see a nutritionist.
Yeah.
Well, why? Well, because I feel like the foods that I'm eating is what's making me obese. The foods that I'm eating is making me have diabetes. The foods that I'm eating is giving me high blood pressure. Don't let them give you no flyer about the DASH diet and send you on about out the way. Ask for a nutritionist. Say, hey, I don't have money. Yeah. The nearest supermarket is this far away. How can I eat foods that I can preserve in the house that, whether they're telling you to eat canned beans and rices and things of that nature. Nutritionists are equipped to tell you how to eat no matter what your living situation is. They are trained to do that. Get you a referral to a nutritionist and have those very important conversations about foods that you can eat to help you reverse the damage that has been done to your body over the course of your entire life. It's just a damage.
Oof, a word. She out here flaming right now. I love it. I love it. Fire. So yeah, at the end of the day, guys, it's not your fault. It's just what we've been led into situation-wise. Let's just do what we can now to change the situation. That's all it is, all right? So, after that topic, that's what's next on my list. Oh, before we get off the birth control, I got to talk about male birth control.
All 2.5 of it? All 1.3 of it? Oh, my goodness.
Male birth control. So, the challenge of a male birth control pill. All right, so research shows that many men would actually welcome the choice of a hormone-based male birth control. Depending on who you ask, about 83% say they use it, but the issue is coming up with a safe, reliable, effective male birth control. That's what's the slow in the process.
Reliable,
all right?
Effective.
Yeah, for men, they want to be safe and reliable. For women, and take this pill. Hey, issues with mood? Who cares? Hey, issues with fertility? Who cares? Blood clots? Good luck, sis. But when males I gotta be safe now. I gotta be safe. I gotta be real healthy. No offense on our sperm now, okay? Ladies, that's y'all. But us, we gotta be.
We gotta make sure everything is all right. By the time they finish with a male birth control,
let's go cure cancer.
32% effective.
Yeah. Side effect cures cancer. That's gonna be the birth control for males. Oh my god. So I looked it up if this actually exists or not. So male birth control. So the existing options for male contraceptives are condoms, obviously, vasectomies or abstinence. Ain't nobody doing abstinence, all right? So the work of preventing unwanted pregnancies often falls to women. Like I said before, like everything else in this life, right? So the work of doing that. So when it all else fails, you have to take the morning after pill. Have you ever done that before? The morning after pill?
Yes, I have, you man.
Yeah, as a sidebar, I should have been sponsored. Not all these athletes in college are getting NIL deals. I should have been sponsored by the morning after pill. I was at mad business their way back in college. Y'all know me in Syracuse. I was out there. I was buying it. I had a stockpile of that shit. I was like, here you go, shorty. Pump that shit real quick. I want no babies out here. We ain't no college. I was a wild boy in college. So, Plan B, y'all should have been sponsored my ass, all right? I sent a lot of business your way to CVS and Walgreens back in the day. So, this is a side note. So, but now, back to the no birth control. Now there's on-demand, non-hormonal male contraceptive pills in the works that actually may be a real possibility that scientists have said found a will to the cell pathway, I believe, that stops the sperm from being able to actually swim, into the ovaries and all that good stuff. So they're doing tests in mice, and from that, it's showing that it keeps sperm stunned for at least a few hours, long enough to stop them from reaching the egg. And it said many more tests are planned and needed. Going from rabbits before they want to go to mice, then rabbits, then people to test this all out. So the idea is that the users would pop a pill about an hour before sex and keep the eye on the clock, obviously, because it wears off. But an hour before sex. In the early study in mice, it was funded by the NIH right here in Maryland in our backyard. A single dose of the drug, it's a testing drug called TDI-11861. So if you're curious, look that up. The drug is called TDI-11861. So basically this drug that's tested in mice immobilized the sperm before, during, and after sex. And they said the effect lasted for around 3 hours. I don't know about fucking 3 hours. It not fucking for 3 hours, but it does last for 3 hours. Get your shit off for 3 hours for sure. By 24 hours, they say that it appears to have fully worn off until the next batch of sperm swim normally. So, I would be, trust me, I would want, not even jokes aside, I would definitely, as a man, be down to take it. This is only for like an hour, and only when you're gonna have sex. Like if you have sex every day, whatever, then you
I was about to say, now let's wait a minute.
Yeah, if you pop pills every day, I guess that's different.
Men tend to be very irresponsible.
Exactly. Yeah, popping pills out here in the streets. I can get you pregnant or worse. Shit, raw dog and everything. The one thing though, it does not protect you from STDs, so that's the one thing about it. So yeah, you can be not having sperm shoot out, but still STDs out there. So me personally, if I had an option for a pill to prevent my wife, partner, your wife, girlfriend, anybody from taking birth control that can affect their mood, their health, all that kind of stuff, I would, and if this is, obviously safe and effective, if this is safe, then I would definitely take it. Obviously, I'll do my research if it's safe, effective, health issues, if it doesn't if it doesn't affect anything like that, I would definitely be in line to take a male contraceptive. If it's a pill that I'm taking, anybody like, I should get, maybe when I'm in the early 20s, trying to fuck every day, but I'm in my early 30s now, man. When you fuck a few times a week, whatever. So I'm taking this every day, maybe 3 or 4 times a week, whatever. I'm popping a pill for an hour. I'm not mad at that. Like, I would definitely be in line to take that. So, hopefully this is a thing that a future generation, maybe not our generation right now, but like the next generation or the generation after that will have this option. So it's not all falls on a female to take birth control and like having an abortion, all that kind of stuff, which we get into.
Now with that, I mean, I'm no doctor, but I think what causes you guys' sperm to swim so strongly and powerfully would be testosterone.
Testosterone for sure, yeah.
So if you are then slowing down.
Good question.
If you are then slowing down, and look at me. Yeah. Already trying to help the guy out.
That's a good woman does.
When I couldn't even help myself. Taking this more than what you should, you would think then affects testosterone.
That is a very good
question. So you may grow breasts, you may cry a lot.
Very good question. That's a very good question. Yeah, I think what they're saying right now about this is like you just pop that pill right before you're gonna have sex. So that it only works during that time frame, that 3 hour, whatever it is, time frame each time. So I guess if you're not having sex every day, it's not gonna be able to like accumulate too much, and that might not be a worry now because it's early studies. But when they start studying in men, that might be a thing that comes up. That's a very good question actually.
Because testosterone,
that's a very good question actually.
Affects just like the change in estrogen and progesterone and all. Testosterone. That's you guys' go-getter. So I would think that it would affect it, and then you have to also understand maybe they're looking at the fact that men tend to be more sexually irresponsible, and knowing, hey, I can be out here living my life like it's golden. They're going to be popping these pills, that would literally alter.
Very interesting. I wonder how that would get
the male dynamic all the way around.
Wow, yeah. I wonder how that would play in society. Like, if I had this option back in college of this kind of...
Yeah, because you just told me you was a wild boy. So if you just said that...
It would have been different. It works, actually.
You would have been
worse. I would have been out of control.
A full-grown woman at this point.
Yeah, it's like that too. Yeah, that
no
too.
Testosterone.
Yeah, very true. Wow.
So
I'm very interested in this. Actually, my curiosity stream has been piqued by this. Actually, so I'm gonna look into this more and follow this drug. I think it's called. I'm looking at my page. What it's called. The name of the drug. So it's called TDI-11861. So look that up. It's a new potential male birth control to help ease off some of the stress of the women. Cause y'all need that for sure. Cause damn. But wow, very interesting. Very interesting. That's a good point. Testosterone. All right. So now let's transition into what happens if you don't have effective birth control and you miss the morning after pill window. Okay. You guessed it. Abortion. So. So an abortion is a medical procedure that terminates a pregnancy. It is a basic healthcare need for millions of women and girls and others who can become pregnant. Worldwide, there's an estimated 1 in 4 pregnancies that actually end in abortion every year. 25 million unsafe abortions take place each year around the world. When this is done by a trained healthcare provider in sanitary conditions, abortions are one of the safest medical procedures available, safer even than giving birth. But when governments, shout out to the U.S., restricts access to abortions, people are compelled to resort to unsafe abortions, particularly those who cannot afford to travel or seek private care, aka minorities, people of color, black women.
There you go.
I mean, you read through the bullshit, particularly those who cannot afford to travel or seek private care. Who do you think that is? Right. Which brings us to the next point. Criminalizing abortion does not stop abortions. It just makes abortions less safe, right? So preventing women and girls from accessing an abortion does not mean they stop needing one. That's why these attempts to ban or restrict abortions do nothing to reduce the number of abortions and only forces people to seek out unsafe abortions. Have you had friends, people that you know, abortion issues? I know people that have done it for sure. Of course, like actually, story of shit. In college, I had a girl. She wasn't even my girl. She just got pregnant, and it was like college days. And if I had, like I said, Plan B situation, all that kind of stuff. But anyway, she had an abortion. Mm-hmm. Yeah, she had an abortion back in college, whatever. So I have a real life experience about this. And I know people with friends like women that have had that happen before. Mm-hmm, so yeah.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Also, oh man.
Yeah.
Abortions as well, which shout out to the United States of America.
The Supreme Court fucking it up, but okay. We're gonna talk about that too for sure.
This definitely should not be something that you're restricting, taking away, limiting, or whatever.
When did it become a thing for men to have the audacity they can control women's body? I never understood that. Like, what man had that first thing? Like, you know what? I'm gonna be able to have a say in what the women can do with their body.
Yeah,
I don't understand that shit.
Most birth controls are created by men.
Oh, 1,000%. Right. 1,000%.
It's
rooted in patriarchal systems in society. But yeah, go ahead.
I'm gonna just say.
Yeah.
I'm the real type of feminist that is not trying to be a guy. And no shade to women who may feel that they are men internally. Yeah. That's a disclaimer.
We accept everybody.
We absolutely do. But I am the feminist that believes that we should be way more proud of what we bring naturally to the table as women, which is our ability to give birth, our intuition, our feelings that are so deeply rooted and guiding that without them, we would be nothing. My ability to clean a house and feed those kids and sit down at the end of the day and still ask my partner about his day, I feel good in those rights. Women are beautiful in the things that they do.
Definitely beautiful.
So I just don't feel the need for men to come and infiltrate the perfection that is the woman being.
Oof,
and that is period.
Oof.
So any woman out there that gets an abortion, what they should have been doing was giving more support to women who need abortions. I've had personal situations where what men may not know is when a woman gets an abortion, the body does not know that she did not give birth and have a baby. It knows that she was pregnant. It's going through this process. And now it's no longer a pregnancy. So the body then scrambles to get her back into a mental and emotional position where she can function. So the moments, the time, the week, the months after an abortion is extremely hard for a woman emotionally and mentally, because her body is trying to adjust and the drastic drop of hormones after it was an extreme surge of hormones. So with abortion clinics, they typically ask you, do you have a support system? Do you have someone that'll be there for you? You know, the emotional pull that men do not understand. Most women, I can't say all, I know a couple hitters. And if they get pregnant, they be like, I'm done with this. And they moving on about their business. But a vast majority of women, they go through such emotional turmoil having to terminate a pregnancy for whatever reason. Yes, of course, we have percentages of rapes and incest and things of that nature that ultimately, absolutely, this woman should have to get an abortion, and it's probably an enormous relief for her that she has these things available to her, so she won't have to go through having a baby with such trauma attached to it. But the women who maybe the timing was just bad, or they're in a partnership that may not be at the best at the time, or, you know, they had a one-night stand after a horrible breakup.
Exactly. Never know what the situation, what the reason behind it.
All of these situations, women are battling internally with all of these decisions that society has told them ultimately they are solely responsible for making and have a lack of support on the back end. So while we're talking about the laws having the audacity to change and make this even more difficult for a woman to go through, we should be talking about the enormous amount of support that should be available to a woman in times where she has to terminate a life from being brought into this world because she does not have the support on the front end to even go through with this situation or scenario. We are, as a society, poor when it comes down to the emotional needs of our women. And I think that is something that should be talked about more, because as we are noticing in society, our women are becoming less and less emotionally attached to themselves because they do not have the emotional protection. They do not have the emotional support to understand the dynamic that we are. It is nothing wrong with us as women being emotional beings and creatures. We have been needed in societies far, far back in the day and even till now, because we have a resounding intuition inside of us that is not being supported. We are being shipped to the masses to purchase things because we're depressed and we're trying to find ways to eat it away, cry it away, sex it away, shop it away, dress it away, buy it away. And the only people that are benefiting is big businesses and corporations.
Facts.
So I implore you at this time in Women's History Month to not only look at the advances that history has brought on to the future that were made at the hands of the woman, look at the beauty that is the emotional creature that women are, and understand that it needs to be supported, it needs to be protected, and it needs to be respected in all aspects of our lives. And our men, it starts with you.
Ooh. Damn, I almost want to end the podcast that way, but we got to talk about this abortion thing. I know you want to talk about this the whole time, this abortion law situation.
That's just terrible.
Oh, man. That was a great word right there. So, last topic of the day, we're going to pivot to the BS going on in the U.S., which is the abortion. So, I'm going to catch you guys up on what's going on pretty much. So, basically, last June 2022, the Supreme Court issued its decision in Dobbs v. Jackson Women's Health, overturning Roe v. Wade, which eliminated the federal standard protecting the right to abortion. Dobbs v. Jackson's Women's Health organization was a challenge to a Mississippi law banning abortion after 15 weeks of pregnancy that experts say stands in direct opposition to what the Supreme Court decided in Roe v. Wade, that states may not ban abortion prior to fetal viability, which is generally understood by experts to mean between 22 and 24 weeks of pregnancy. But in a 6-3 decision, the conservative supermajority on the High Court sided with Mississippi, upholding its ban in a massive reversal of precedent. Now, back in January of this year, the FDA finalized a rule change in response to this ruling by the Supreme Court that allows pharmacies, as CVS, Walgreens, Rite Aid, to begin offering abortion pills in qualifying states. Now, the move could increase access to the pills at both physical stores and online pharmacies, and that sparked legal questions, particularly in the most restrictive states. Obviously, those southern states, I'm like, hold on now. So, that's what they're saying. Hold on now, buddy. So, an analysis by the Guttmaker Institute, which is a research group that supports abortion rights, found that medication abortion, which is a two-drug combination of mifepristone, 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 I can't say pronounce it, and misoprostol, accounted for more than half of all facility-based abortions in 2020. A half. That means you go to Planned Parenthood, they give you these 2 pills to take for the abortion, pretty much what that means. Now, let's pivot to what's going on in Texas currently. So there's a Texas lawsuit that threatens the access to the abortion pills nationwide if it succeeds in reversing the FDA's approval of the drug mifepristone, the first drug in the medication abortion process. So Texas is going after that first drug, mifepristone, in that ruling by the FDA. They're going after that because it's saying that, hey, you know what? You can't be making this thing legal as far as online, whatever, because then if we have that ban in Texas, that means people that live in Texas, women, they can just order that online and be able to get an abortion. Yeah. That's kind of what they're saying pretty much. So they could have a ruling on that pretty soon this year, pretty much. So a lot of challenges to this abortion laws by the state level due to the federal decision right now. People the states that have banned abortion statewide are challenging this new ruling by the FDA because now it's going to pretty much nullify their abortion ban in their state. So like it's a lot going on right now with women's health. And I don't see a lot of women talking about it. I see only men. At all. I see men deciding about what women should do about their bodies. But women need to get in a conversation and really like stop all. This is like nonsense happening right now. So I don't. What's your take on all this?
As I was listening to you, my thought as I was listening to you was, why is any of this happening?
It's crazy. It really is crazy. Like
the way you even have to verbalize. How our bodies and our freedom to make decisions about where we are as women in any given moment to bear, raise, and be the predominant caretaker for these children are being spoken about down to a pill. Now, can I get it at CVS? Now, what you mean? Online? Well, what that's going to do for me in my country if they can get it online? Because I said no. To even listen to it, I feel like a child.
It's just like, be reprimanded. What are you
argue about where the child needs to go, and no one comes in and asks the child, well, who do you want to go with? It's almost like it's surreal to be an adult woman, to be a grown
People
woman.
People making choices for you.
And you are listening to them
it's comical.
Go back and forth, and then I'm looking at the screen like, I don't even know that guy.
Who is this old white man talking
about
my body?
This man? And why is he telling me what I can do? And again, we have to unplug what we thought was happening in our life. This is not normal. This is not okay for women. And no matter how much we hoot and holler about feminism and all of this other crap, I always said, as it pertains to the feminism movement, what are you really doing for women who are just being women? I don't want to get on a scalpel. I don't want to paint. I don't want to do the job of Joe Blow. I don't want to hold a jackhammer. I don't want. What is being done for just women? The women's rights. Where is the feminism movement?
Facts.
At this moment, where are all these feminists that are in their lawmakers' little homes and their Benzes and where are these women?
Benzes that come together being like a stronger force. I get that, guy.
For something that's just women's rights.
Exactly. The last time I think it happened was part of the Me Too movement, right? Where like women kind of came together, but even that was like, obviously for a different reason. But like, it's in general for like women's health and perspective, like how you guys want to be viewed in society or whatever. Like, there's no, I don't see like no. Is it like a person? Like I don't see even how they even get involved.
Where
into
is
that.
this?
Like how they even get involved in that? Who's running the feminist? Who's running the feminist movement right now? Like who's like
where is the feminist movement?
I don't see any of that kind of stuff.
For maternity leave. Where is that feminist movement in the United States of America for women to not be going back to work 6 weeks to 2 months after they give birth to a child?
Yeah, I feel like we've always been beaten up so much, we like just giving up and like, oh, it's not gonna change, whatever. We have to make that change. Like, it's not gonna be easy, not an easy process. Now we just talking about it, but like, just be about it. Like, we have to, something has to be done about it, because like, I feel like people are just looking at it, what's going on, like, oh, okay, I guess this is the world we live in. This is America. Like, it's not okay. None of this is okay. Like, you don't just accept it. Like, at least you say you try to put effort in to do something, whether it's organizing a coalition in your neighborhood or something like that, whatever. It's like, tackle something even at a state level first, go from there, and then go to like, you know, it can build up to a national level. Like, you start from somewhere. But I don't see that movement anywhere. That's why I think we just, society in general is accepting like what's been given to us, like, oh, this is how it is. And we shouldn't do that anymore.
We pay these congressmen and lawmakers, and you know, we pay them this money, and fortunately in Maryland, you know, we're not having that battle with abortion. But where are our lawmakers that are going to stand and say, hey, but they are battling with it 3 states over. Let's go over and sit down with them and find out what the big deal is.
Exactly. That's the issue. That's the issue right
They're
now.
They're not hearing me.
They're
not checking my DM.
Word.
Where is the actual outrage for women as a whole? Like, not just, well, we good here in the state of Maryland.
Yeah, exactly.
What I'm not about to do is go on over here 3 states over and tell them what to do in their states.
Exactly.
Or are their women not worth someone to stand? We pay you to be lawmakers and people who fight for the law all the way around. It doesn't seem like that's what we have now.
It's just crazy. The Texas law just boils my blood, because like, to be that evil and bad, like, it's not bad enough you ban it in your states. Like, try to ban it to be able to, like, people that need it in your state, that get it, like, whatever. It could be health reasons, it could be multiple reasons to like have an abortion for their home. It's their choice, right? But to try and even ban that on a federal level to like prevent them from ordering it from online pharmacies or whatever, it's like, it's mind blowing.
I'm trying to find the rationalization.
It's just like,
what is the argument?
It's just these old prehistoric ideas like these old men have, like that old generation needs to die off. That is, they have about how things should be in society. They're trying to keep and preserve that as long as they can. Even goes to the argument about the whole CRT thing in the schools, teaching like what actually happened in the past, whatever was slavery, all that kind of stuff. They're trying to ban that from high schools, right? Because they don't want everybody to know the full facts and information. That's what this is right now. They just want to like keep everything copacetic as is, pretty much. Like, that's how they've been able to build their wall, or do this and do that. If they have any change in the algorithms, shit happens.
But the internet is a monster.
You
the can't keep them from finding out.
The internet is the best and worst thing ever created. It's the best thing because we all come together. The worst thing for obviously multiple reasons, but like, it's just the best thing. There's no information that can be kept that's not at your fingertips right now. Any information, any question you have can be found internet. Now, obviously, you have to like the validity of your sources has to be like, you know, identified. But all information that you're seeking out there is available. One click of the button.
Oh, so you can get groups
and groups
online that say, hey, they can't get abortion pills down in Texas. Well, we're going to be their auntie up here in Massachusetts.
We'll order it
and we'll send it from auntie so that they can have it anyway.
Exactly.
What is happening right now? What even is the outrage? You cannot control women's bodies. No matter what you do, all you're going to cause is sheer pandemonium.
Oh man, we can talk about this I feel like we've talked for like an hour now. I feel like we've talked about 20 minutes. Now, there's so much to say about all these issues we're talking about, but we have limited time. I want to give you guys like an hour and less podcast episodes, but this is like an hour and 15. I feel like we have so much more to talk about, but that'll be next time for another episode.
We're good.
Another episode. Okay.
Enough has been said.
Enough has been said. The mic has been dropped multiple times in this episode by Shawntae for sure. So I want to say definitely thank you guys for listening. I hope you guys were entertained and learned a few things. It's only going to get better. Remember to like and follow my Facebook page, Druggy Nation. Link is to my IG bio as well. Just search my name, Emmanuel_Wagarian. And subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, iHeartRadio. Leave a comment. It'd be great to hear from you guys, all right? I want to see if my guest has any shout-outs to plug in real quick. Anything about your... I think you tried to do the podcast before, and life happens.
Emmanuel, I got kids.
Yes, I got kids situation. I got things going on in life.
And I'm trying to lose this kid weight. Once I lose the weight, I feel like I'll be back popping.
I feel like once we breach that topic again, maybe like end of the year towards like and start like early next year, 2024. I feel like I'm gonna be in that topic what you're talking about. We can do collaboratively.
Yeah, that would help.
I feel like we should definitely collaborate together because like. I love my Drunken Nature podcast, but I feel like we just have, like, it's just natural how we talk. Yeah. Like, this dialogue is great all the time. Every episode we do together is always some fucking great. It's always one of my higher streamed episodes all the time. Dope. Like, it's always great. It's like, people always love that content. So I feel like we need to, like, think more about that in the future for sure. We'll talk more about it off mic for sure. So I just want to shout out to Shawntae for coming through and blessing the mic as always. Since it's Women's History Month, I got to pander a little bit. Give you a great quote, you know. So it's from Maya Angelou. She says, "I'm a woman, phenomenal woman. That's me." Shout out to Maya Angelou, okay? So if you haven't already, remember to subscribe on Apple Podcasts, the Podbean app, Spotify, Stitcher, Google Play, everywhere, including iHeartRadio, okay? And shout out to y'all for listening, supporting me since the journey began back in 2019. Keeping it moving, keeping it going. Shout out to all my subscribers, all 4K y'all, all my thousands of downloads. I love you guys, I appreciate it. Shout out to all the women in my life. Shout out to all the women. Shout out to Shawntae. Y'all are loved and appreciated. And like Beyonce said, y'all run the world, alright? And with that, appreciate y'all. Next episode, love y'all. We out. Deuces.